Hey Kaushik,
Hello, Krishna.
thanks for having me, man. You have a lovely home here.
Thank you for dropping by. I'm super excited to talk to you and to all of our people joining us today.
Exactly, the same feelings here. So, before we get into the conversation,
Uh-huh.
I wanted to share this little backstory with our listeners.
Okay.
So, about a month ago, I
Uh-huh.
decided I wanted to start a podcast.
Right, you were telling me.
Yeah, so, and then 2 weeks later,
Uh-huh.
I met you at the paper flight event.
Right.
It was one of your talks actually.
Thank you for joining
So-
me, Krishna.
So at that time, I showed you my website,
Right.
and then your first response was, "Awesome, macha. So do you have everything to get started? You can get my mic if you don't have one."
This is what little I can do, Krishna. See, whenever people you know are trying to do something, you help in what little way you can. See, one thing is, it's not easy. It's definitely difficult. Whenever you try to hustle, it's in no way easy. There's a reason why it's called hustle. So when the people you know are trying to hustle, help in any little way you can. Me giving a mic is, I'm not going to lose anything. It's no big deal, Krishna. Like, I would be more than happy to start seeing your podcast. Kill it, Krishna.
Thank you so much, Kaushik. That means a lot, really. So for people who don't know, who's Kaushik Kannan and what do you do?
Right. Hey, you guys. Yours truly, Kaushik Kannan here. Born and brought up in Chennai, your typical Chennai boy. So, like most Indians, I studied engineering as well. I thought I was going to become a developer. But I had this really early calling, thanks to Red Bull, where I used to work as a student brand manager. We used to work on like really crazy marketing hacks, brand awareness, buyer behavior, impulse buys, all that stuff. I was the first team lead of Red Bull Chennai. It was really fun. And that is when I discovered most of my passion towards sales and marketing. And so in between this time, so I'm really grateful to my college that way as well because I got to explore a lot. I keep going out for these hackathons and everything. So I've even developed like an Android app and everything. But after a point, I started becoming this guy who would pitch to the VCs. I'd go pitch to the jury about what idea we had. So it was really fun. Like I got to explore and experiment a lot. I'd go for MUNs, which are called Model United Nations. So it was a lot of fun. And then, right soon after that was done, I joined in the startup called Hatch. We used to work on mobile applications, dashboards, websites. So I joined as their business development manager. It was a four-member team. We had two developers, one designer, and then there was me. It was a lot of fun. So I was the only guy on business development, and I had the amount of responsibility which I had. I loved it. I got to do anything and everything under the sun with business development. I'd make cold calls, I'd run social campaigns, I'd go to events. I'd ask, so even though my network was and is limited, I'd ask all of them to refer us. I'd ask my networks to refer us. Like, we pretty much ticked all the boxes. And simultaneously, we had a sister concern called Hatch School of Code, in which we used to take coding class for kids aged 5 to 12. It was insane. These kids, man. So we had kids only in second and third grade who had their own websites. Even now, if you open anjali.hatsquad.com, her website would show up. She's already a Potterhead and everything. It's insane. So I helped draft their curriculum. I took the classes as well. We tied up with Velamal Global, the school called Indus on the ECR in Chennai, and then this place called Kinder Nest. It was a lot of fun. After Hatch, I'm with Chargebee now. I work in the sales team in Chargebee. I work more on prospecting, making sure they're a good fit, understanding the market and things like that.
So the first thing I want to talk about is your time management. As someone who has seen you up close, I'm always amazed at the number of things you get done in a week. Be it your LinkedIn post, YouTube channel, the talks you attend. So you look like someone who has figured how to get the most done out of a day. So how do you go about planning your routine?
The thing is, as you said, I try to do as many things which I'm really passionate about. See, be it my YouTube channel. So I'm going to be starting this other one as well with a group of people on networking. Be it the Storyteller tribe, anything and everything which you mentioned. I do it only because I love it. Like I'm really passionate about each and every one of the things I do. See, I cannot go and I don't. So if I cannot go and do something which I don't like. Like I cannot go and so I told you I even developed Android apps before, like very static basic apps. But I can do that. But if I'm gonna be going and doing that, that's gonna feel like a grind. I'm not really going to feel like I want to do this. I won't feel like I want to develop 10 apps and keep at it. But I would run 10 YouTube channels and still like doing it. So I really love everything I do. So that's really what keeps me going. And Krishna, you choosing to be here is you spending 3 hours of your day to do this. You chose to do this, right? You had 24 days. I have 24 days. 24, I have 24 hours. You, the person listening to this right now, has 24 hours in their day. What are we doing with those 24 hours? See, each and every one of us has the exact same time. It all depends on your priorities and what you decide to do. And this does not mean I don't spend time with friends. I do. Every weekend, I make sure I go visit one of my friends. As in, like, as a group. I make sure I don't give up on that as well. I make sure I balance my weekends accordingly. Now, I've started to do this. See, one thing is, in the beginning, I was all over the place. I wasn't getting anything done, things were falling apart. But very soon, I started to channelize my energy and figure out this is what I want to do. I prioritize things for the day, saying, okay, with this, I need to get these things done. And one more very, very, very important thing, which is a very early calling for me, is don't try to do everything on your own. Very, very, very important. You might be really, really, really good at something or even multiple things, but don't do it on your own. You will burn out no matter what. Always find your tribe, always find your team. See, so everything which you mentioned, so my LinkedIn, I do it on my own because it is more of my thought processes, the things which I'm doing and things like that. So let's say Karka Kasadara, the YouTube channel, I do it with two other people. So every time when you're shooting, even there, they give their ideas in. And we've partnered with Studio Navas, which is run by Navni, and they're editing our videos. So first we did not have time to get the video. We'd come up with all the content. We'd get the video shot, but we just wouldn't be able to edit it. And then that would take time. So because of that, we'd miss out on timings in which we had to post. We are tying up with Studio Navans, which is run by Navni Vishwa. He's a really good friend. He's like a brilliant orator. He runs a studio as well. So he's going to be editing our videos for us. We tied up a social Zod who run this who are a digital marketing agency, and they're doing a really good job. It's run by Elangerian, and he's also very active in the community. So he's agreed to help us with our social media for the channel. So all of us take up responsibilities. So we help with the content. He's going to be taking care of social. Navni and Navans are going to be taking care of getting the videos out, and we make sure we deliver from our end with the brilliant content. Karka Kasadara. Let's take the Storytellers tribe for example. So the tribe is run by the tribe. But the people who brought it together, I could have brought it together on my own if I wanted to. But I'm doing that with Sangeeta and Naveen. Right? And all of us take up roles, responsibilities. So, and you need a team who you can rely on. So see, we're all humans at the end of the day. Some of it is very common for us to make errors, mistakes, but can you work together with the team? Can you make sure you fix that? I've had a lot of fights with my team as well. Any team for that matter. But only after that will you understand what each person is comfortable with. They're strong here, they're weak here, this is how they want to go about this. So Krishna, very simply put, I set my priorities. I know that this is what I want to do. These are things which are important to me. See, on this note, I can be doing so many other things, but I choose to do these things. It's as simple as that. All of us have the exact same time, Krishna. This is with my gym as well. Like a lot of people tell me, Kaushik, I just don't have time to go to the gym. And you cannot say that. You just cannot say you don't have time to go to the gym. It basically means you're doing something else in that 1 hour in which you can go to the gym. So where do your priorities lie? It's as simple as that, Krishna.
That's wonderful, Kaushik. But I think you make it sound really simple, like what's stopping me from doing it. I want to get a little bit into the thought process on this. Because let's say I want to run a mile or something at the end of the day, or exercise for some 30 minutes. There is nothing stopping me from getting it done. But I still end up catching a movie on Netflix. I mean, which in retrospect I know I'm gonna regret. So how do you resist this temptation with respect to the short-term gratifications and focus completely on your long-term goals?
Right. So I used to watch a lot of anime. So Japanese anime, in which I'd watch like, and I used to do this only when I was eating. So in that gap in which I would eat, I would like watch one episode or something. But I stopped doing even that. See, it's always good to take a break. Do that. Like I'm not saying I'm always looking at some course or like listening to some person give a keynote something. I do take like so even in my even at office even at Chargebee like we have dinner with the rest of the team like it's a lot of fun. Even if I'm home like I have it with my folks we watch something on TV. But what I'm trying to say is see in those 2 hours in which I'm watching a movie I will not be able to focus. I'd rather be doing something else. But I'm not saying that that's something easy to get. But see, for me, I always look at the bigger picture. But see, one thing is, I really think going to the gym has really helped me with this, with my thought process and mindset with life as well. See, very simply put, if I don't go to the gym today, it's gonna take one more day for me to get to where I want to. Right. In these 2 hours, if I'm not gonna be writing the blog piece which I want to, I'm never gonna do it. If I don't do it in these 2 hours, I'm gonna be procrastinating forever. I can do so many things today, but I will have twice as much to do tomorrow. Right?
It's true.
If I'm not publishing this post today, in 4 days my next post will be due. Not necessarily on one platform. Maybe it's for some other channel. Maybe it's for one of the other projects I'm working on. If I do not get this done, it's never gonna get done. Right?
So it's all about setting priorities and
Very true.
thinking long term.
Exactly. And by long term, by which I mean, always look at the bigger picture. Right. So it's never about instant gratification. So I quit sugar as well. For which a lot of people are like, "How old are you?" And I'm like 23. They're like, "Bro, you're 23 years old. Why would you quit sugar?" Bro, when I'm 50 years old, I'm not gonna be panting every time I walk two flight of stairs. See, I know where I want to be. I know what I want to become. And when you say that, how do you not give in? Look, don't look at what you're sacrificing. Look at what you're gaining.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. Like, what will you get if you don't do this? If I'm not watching this movie today, after 4 months, when I look back at my blog, it's gonna have so much solid content that it might even start to rank. So look at the goals, look at the bigger picture. Right. It's as simple as that, Krishna. So where do you want to be? And is see, for me, I think long term as well. But one thing which I live by today, today before I go to bed, have I done something that is leading to the bigger picture? Very simple. And today, me talking to you now is more than a step to that. Because I believe through you, I'm helping so many people. And even if one person, this person listening to it right now, has gotten something out of it, I am a very, very happy man, Krishna.
I want to talk about one of your other passionate activities, exercise. So when I came to know that you went to the gym regularly, that was actually a pleasant surprise. so much on your plate. It's really amazing how you find time every day to go to the gym. Uh, so when we were discussing about this, I came to know that you you're very active on Instagram and you post your gym endeavors there basically. I don't use Instagram myself, so I had no clue about this whatsoever. And in one of your presentations, there was this picture of before and after. That was the first time that I came to know that you go to gym, and that was a complete shocker. How long has it been? Some 6 to 8 months, I reckon.
Oh, so almost for a year. I started last Feb
Okay.
gymming. So we're in 2020 now. Last Feb I started. And in this time, I just make sure I go to the gym no matter what. The same thing which you told me. I'd rather take time out of something else and go to the gym for an hour than not go to the gym. Because one thing with the gym, Krishna, it's helped me. It's helped me in so many aspects of life. In which, when I go to the gym, so see, as you said, there's so much digital. There's so much going on all the time. But this 1.5 2 hours when I'm at the gym, I leave my phone aside. As soon as I enter the gym, I put my phone away, and I only go work out. And that, believe it or not, that is when I have most of my creative thoughts. There's nothing. It's just me lifting weights. It's just me at the gym, and I keep having so many thoughts. So the thing is, so this is one thing which might really help people if they're like writing. In which, if you sit down to write, there's only so much of content which will come up.
That's true.
But let's say you've decided this is what you're going to write on. So my previous talk at Paperflight, the one you had mentioned, it was on the power of people and communities. So this talk, I didn't put it down in one day. I've been thinking about it for easily 1 to 2 months at least. And every time I would randomly think of like a really good line, like a really good point to present, to talk to people with, and I just note it down. So I use Notion for this. You can use Notion, Evernote, you can even use a Google Doc for example. Just have one place where you can note down your thoughts. So these golden nuggets which you get, you will forget. No matter what. See, so I every time I write a piece, before so in the beginning when I started, I'd like sit down, I just like pen down everything I thought about and put out. But after that, I think of a topic I want to write on. So one of the topics which I'm going to be writing on next is, let's say, LinkedIn for the average Joe. So tips and tricks on how you can grow your profile on LinkedIn. I'm going to be writing a piece on networking 101, how to go about it. So there's a lot on the pipeline. So I literally said pipeline because I have 7 to 8 blog pieces lined up I'm going to write on. But I have the topics. I know this is what I'm going to write. So randomly, when I'm going somewhere, when something comes to mind, I put it on my Notion tab under that blog piece, and I have all these pieces, and I finally put it out into a beautiful piece. So this is something which has really helped me. And now I have completely deviated from where we started, but how I started going to the gym, right? So I lost 15 kilos last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish I knew you a year back, man.
Yeah, so people do not believe me when they see me, and I'm not kidding when I say change so rapid. One thing is I also used to cycle. So with Hatch, I told you, right? So I live on the Omar, and Hatch was in Royalpeta, which is 17 kilometers apart.
Wow.
Yeah, so I used to cycle up and down. I used to cycle 35 kilometers every day.
Tense.
So that really helped. And then when I started going to the gym, my trainer put me on to weights. He was like, enough cardio. Do cardio, like basically just cycling, running and all. He was like, start lifting weights, start working on weight training. So that is when I started putting on like a good frame, all that stuff happened. So even with the gym, the first week when I started, all my friends, all of them would say, hey, you're going, okay, go, I'll see you after 1 week. They'd be like, I'll see you after 2 weeks, you see. But that's not the case. Like, it's completely up to you if you want to do it or not, right? And these first 1 2 weeks are when you have this really bad body soreness. But now, if I don't go to the gym, is when I feel bad. I'd rather go to the gym. See, every time you have a good workout, it feels so good. Like you feel so revitalated, re-energized, and it's really good. But in the beginning, when I started, this is what happened the first day. I went into the gym. My trainer was like, I went and told him, Master, I want six packs, Master. I want to have like a aesthetic body and all that. All he did was he came to me, he tapped my tummy, he was like, go, go. And then I even told him I'll work hard, I'll come every day. He was like,
The
go,
effect
go.
of movies.
So all my friends told me that as well. They were like, you're going, we'll see how long you're going. Because that is what happens with a lot of people. They start, they stop. But that is my only thing. Going to the gym I've seen this in itself. So this is like a really interesting conversation I had with my colleague at work, Krishna. There's one of my colleagues called Krishna, called Gautam. He's in the design team with Chargebee. And what happened here was we were having this random conversation in the cafeteria, and he was like, Kaushik. So and this fitness concept came again, and so I told him I lost 15 kilos last year. He was like, do you feel confident now? For a second, so I've always thought I'm this really confident person, and I've always been this outspoken person. I've always grabbed every opportunity, always wanted like crave for the stage and everything. But when he asked me that, it was very, very true. Because of that, unconsciously, I've felt so much more confident. Now, it was the same thing which I told you. When I'm 50, when I'm 60 years old, I will still be dynamic, I will still be explosive, I will still be this energetic, and I would rather have that than eat sugar today. I know that if I go to the gym today, I am going to get to that position quicker. If I don't go to the gym for a week, I'm going to lose out on all this momentum which I'm gaining, and I'd rather not do that. My only thing with the gym is it was difficult. Obviously, it was. So I only lift like 5 kilos. If I'm even lift 15 kilos now, it's only because I was doing it for 1 year. It takes time. It's supposed to take time. If it doesn't, all of us would be fit. And all of us would just do anything. Like, there's no point in sacrificing or trying hard. So you try hard, you give it your all, and this is your gratification. This is you feeling good about yourself is the reward. So going to gym has never been something which people thought I would do, but I kept at it because I knew that this is what I wanted. It leads to the bigger picture of me. When I'm saying the same thing again, when I'm 50, I want to look at you, the person who's eating sugar and telling me, saying, "Hey, what lifestyle are you living?" I want to look at you. I want to come stand next to you and say, hey, look at me now, look at you now. So,
So the journey is the reward.
True.
I think it's important to have an outcome or goal in mind while you start.
Right.
But over time, it's the journey that takes over your thought process,
right.
whatever it is. And the outcome is still there somewhere in the back of your mind. But as long as you enjoy the journey, I think it's more than worth.
True.
Even at 50, if you're not exactly, I hope not, but if you're still not exactly in the shape how you would like to be or how you imagine, you would still look back and say, I'm glad I did this.
True. So there's one more thing here, Krishna. This goal which you spoke about, it does not have to be a permanent one. This journey will help you pivot and iterate. Everything is an iterative process. This goal which you're setting, even this long-term goal, it can change. And that's okay. But you have to work towards something. It's as simple as that. So I strongly believe life is made up of phases, Krishna. See, now, I might even start eating sugar after 5 years. But the only thing is, will I regret looking back at things? That is all. Today, if I'm a part of 10 things, Will I regret that after 5 years? Definitely not. Will I regret going to the gym 1 hour every day? Definitely not. But life is filled with phases. We grow, we want different things, we do different things. As long as after 10 years, if I'm looking back at what I did in this phase, even if I want something else, as long as I'm not regretting this phase, I know for a fact. So, a lot of people even tell me this when you're 50, 60, you'll regret not eating sugar because they'll be like, you can't eat sugar this time. I know I won't do that. As long as I can look back, even last year, see, you can regret a choice which you made, like you can regret a decision which you made, but you act towards it, you change it, you work on it. What life is purely phases, Krishna. In this phase, what do you do? What do you prioritize in this phase? You can prioritize something else in a different phase. Maybe all this hustle is getting to you too much. And you have to prioritize on yourself, taking a small break, and that's okay. As long as after coming out of that break, you don't regret saying, "Oh shit, I was on a break for 1 year, so I lost out on so many opportunities." As long as you cannot say that, as long as you can wholeheartedly admit and say, "This 1 year, I wanted to take a break, I took it, I'm getting back to the hustle, I want to do this." So make sure you do not regret a phase. Have goals, have iterative goals. Set your goals very, very high. Keep biting away, keep chewing away at them little by little. But this very broad, grandiose goal can keep pivoting. As I said, I want to become a software engineer. I realized I wanted to become a public speaker. I love sales and marketing. That is what I want to do. And the end goal is to become a public speaker. And this can always keep iterating, and that's okay.
I think it's a very interesting point that you bring out, that it's okay that your goals change.
True.
I've seen a lot of people where they come back at me for an opinion that I had 5 years back, and hey, remember you said this. It might be something like me supporting a football club or something.
Right.
Remember, you liked it back then and now you don't.
Right.
And like that's the process of growing up. That's who I am. When I was 5 years old, I was taught that the sun rises in the east. And when I was 10, I was told that the sun doesn't rise. So that revolves.
True.
So as long as you keep learning something, you're gonna keep moving your goal. You're gonna realize what your potential is.
Right.
You gravitate towards different things in life, and as long, like you said, as long as you don't regret a choice that you made at any point of time, there is no reason to feel bad about it.
Right. Lovely. Very beautifully put with that example of learning. And very true, Krishna.